As long as he doesn't literally stop there.
Come on.
Oh, you are having a laugh, mate.
Hello everyone and welcome to Wednesday's Talking Reds in association with Tokyo Time. For those of you who are creatures of habit, you'll be pleased to know that it's back to the classic Wednesday lineup of myself, Mo Stewart, and Mr. Rob Gutmann. It's been 3 weeks, Rob.
Has it?
Yeah.
They've flown by, Mo. I don't know what I've been doing with my Wednesdays. Actually, did I do one without you? Can't remember.
You might well have done one without me. Last week's one was live from Munich.
Live from Munich,
which is also where I was.
Yeah.
Although I wasn't quite in the same place as everybody else. It's a strange situation.
Were they hammered?
I was.
Really?
I don't know what they were up to.
10:30, way to go.
Yeah. Well, I was technically, at the time it was being recorded, I was probably still on my way to Germany. I went, for those of you who don't know, I went a bit of a random journey via Manchester and Paris and Nuremberg to get to Munich. So I didn't get to Munich till like 4 o'clock in the afternoon.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And consequently, I didn't actually get into the Allianz Arena, but instead I had a boss night in Munich.
You didn't get in?
I didn't get into the game, no.
Did you have a ticket?
No.
Oh, fucking hell.
I know. Well, the point of it was part of the European away adventure.
No, I agree.
Trust me, I had an adventure. Anyone who could check out my Instagram story will know I had quite an adventure.
Okay.
But yes, that was then, this is now. We are back. The season has taken a little bit of a pause, but I always like it when that happens because it gives us a chance to maybe kind of take a sideways look at something that's happening. And one particular person over the last 2 months who's really caught the attention of everybody is our good friend Sadio Mane. And there was an article in the Echo yesterday, in fact, from John Aldridge, who says that he's been telling him for the last 3 or 4 weeks that he should be going for the Golden Boot. And Sadio himself is a
John.
Very
he's quite right. He's quite right. John
he is quite right. And the funny thing about it is, John says that Sadio himself is quite shy about it. He's always been saying no. But surely now he's got to be thinking, I've got a real chance at this.
And winning the league and European Cup.
Yes.
I would like to think running through on goal with there's a guy to his right who could slot the ball in that wins us the league. He's not going, and there is the Golden Boot on the other hand.
No.
So I kind of think it's relevant. It'd be a lovely thing for him if it happened at the end of the season. I think it's an incredible thing that Liverpool have 2 players going for the Golden Boot. I think that's the big story. I think his coming of age is the big story, rather than the literalness of winning the Golden Boot. I mean, I've thought since the minute he walked through the door, he was our best player. He straight away just became that player in that season, which ended for him with injury. He was sensational. Interrupted by African, and I thought he began to overtake Coutinho. He was ready to push on the next season, and Salah came in and slightly stole his thunder. And then he also had the sending off at City, suspension, a few minor injuries. So his season took a while to get going last year. But the second part of 2018, season 2017-2018. He arguably is up there with Salah then as well. He's scoring all the time. And I think he's quietly becoming our most important player.
I think for me, it's more about the belief that he can be the top striker in this Premier League.
Yeah.
Because obviously, you've got to remember as well that all the other guys he's fighting against take penalties. Well, the probably exception of Mo Salah, who's probably not going to be taking penalties for a while now, if along Milner's on the pitch. But the idea that he's kind of backed away from it a little bit previously says to me that he's always been a little bit shy within his demeanour, but there's always been that steely ambition there, and something like this might really bring it out of him.
I think he's, I don't know quite, is he maybe the most natural striker of the front three in a certain sense? So you might be right in terms of his talent, so maybe you combine that with growing confidence. I mean, I look at the way that the range of finishes he's got. I'd say he's the best in the air of our
Definitely the best in the air.
Definitely the best in the air of our front three. He's the one likeliest to put his foot through the ball from 25 yards. Some of the goals last season, a goal at Burnley, one of his goals at City, one against Porto, really gets his laces on the ball in a way I don't think we see quite as often from Firmino and Salah, who both tend to open their bodies out and bend shots in, or pass it into net. Well, Sadio's got all that as well. And I look at his pace. I mean, I think there's a case. You look at next season, if Liverpool bring in another, or hopefully do another sort of potential worldly level front 4 player, there's an opportunity to play a front 3 if you were resting Firmino, of Salah right, Mane in the middle, and another great player on the left-hand side.
That does sound quite mouthwatering, doesn't it?
Yeah, I think so.
Now, obviously, when we're talking about Golden Boot, and chasing it, we have to kind of mention what happened last season with Mo Salah, where there was that period towards the end of the season where it did seem to preoccupy him a little bit, maybe to the detriment of the team. You mentioned before about the idea of him passing at the right time. It is something that people have accused Sadio of in the past, of not being able to time the pass at the right time. Not necessarily being selfish, but not being able to give that assist in the perfect way. Again, do you think that could be an issue here, or do you think that it's just going to be a positive for everyone? Because if you remember last season, everyone on the Liverpool team was trying to help Mo Salah win the Golden Boot. So I assume if Mane's in position, the same thing would happen.
There's difference last season. There were two tracks we were on, and I think you saw the best of Mo Salah in the run in the Champions League, scoring against City away, great against Roma. I don't think Mo Salah was thinking of personal glory in any way, shape or form. The personal glory he wanted was to be a European Cup winner, and I think that's what Sadio Mane wants. In the league games, I remember it sticks in my mind at West Brom, we're probably 7 points ahead of Chelsea in the run-in for fourth place at that stage. We were trying to find Salah all the time. He was trying to get off shots, I think they weren't on. I don't think that happened. I think they will all be subjugating themselves to the need. I mean, people are focused on Salah not scoring. I think he's saying to himself quite comfortably, if I don't score between now and the end of the season, I don't give a shiny shite as long as I end up with a Champions League or league title in his medal. I've got 20 goals. It's all bonus time anyway. I want medals.
No, and for anyone who's trying to say that this is a poor, quote-unquote, poor season for him, the best answer he can give is to show his medals at the end in May. I agree with you 100% on that. Now, to move slightly across into something else that you had mentioned, the idea of a fourth front four attacker coming into our squad. There has been some new transfer rumours, which it's got the two of us talking, and probably may have got the two of you, or the few of you out there talking as well. Juventus' Paulo Dybala, potentially a Liverpool transfer target, according to sources in Italy. Now, he was very much the talisman of that side until this season when Ronaldo came in and basically Ronaldo'd all over the place. So the idea that they would be willing to sell him 12 months ago seemed ridiculous, but just now it does seem a little bit more likely. Now, how much do you know about Dybala, and how excited would you be to see him within our Liverpool squad?
I mean, I can't say I've watched him many times over 90 minutes. I've YouTubed the ass off him, and I've got a sense of what sort of a player he is. And we discussed this just before. Maybe somewhere between Coutinho and a Fekir. Maybe a bit more goals. Well, actually, both of them have got good goal records. He's a stellar player. Liverpool were linked with him last summer. I think there's been enough. There's not been one authoritative source, but there's enough smoke around it. You think he's on Liverpool's list? I mean, I would have said ordinarily he's playing for a great Juventus side. Why would it be a thing that he'd even consider leaving them at this stage? But the links to Liverpool have been persistent, so you wonder if there is something in it.
There is always going to be something like that, like you say. As long as those links are persistent, it's hard to kind of officially put them to one side. But the thing that kind of makes me think that this might be a viable option is that Ronaldo is such a dominant figure within Italian football, but within a dressing room as well. And you look at the positions he takes up on the pitch, he wants to be in that central striking area. He doesn't really want to spend much time out on the wing anymore. So for the guys playing just in front, beneath him, the attacking midfielder, you do get a lot less space. And Juventus do also have Miralem Pjanic, who does like to get into those areas as well. So you can almost see where this season it's been a bit of a marriage of convenience. But again, if Juventus don't end up winning their holy grail of the Champions League, then there's going to be a lot of people who say, well, okay, we need to look at a new strategy. And he's definitely one of their more enticing pieces if they're going to start to maybe look to sell to buy. So personally, I think he'd be fantastic for us, because not only can he play in that number 10 attacking midfield, but he can also play up front in a 2, and it just gives us so many more options in terms of how we want to set up, where we want to start people before they start crossing over. And the other thing about him as well is that he is a fantastic finisher. He is someone who you would like to think can get 15 to 20 per season in a Liverpool side, even if he's not playing as one of the front 3 attackers. He takes free kicks as well, very well. So
you really whet my appetite.
There's lots of good things about him.
I would have him in a heartbeat. It'd be a sensational signing for Liverpool. Probably would cost, unless he's got some sort of release clause or contract issue, well north of 120 million, I suspect, in this market. I don't see it happening.
Rob, why do you always have to bring reality into things, man?
I can be as deluded as the next guy. You know this more on transfers anyway, but I'd be surprised. I just think he's playing at the pinnacle of the Italian game. For a top manager in a top side who are. Well, I mean, we're a great side at the moment, but they're rated even more highly than us. I don't think it's like, just in the same way, I don't think Real Madrid are getting Sadio Mane in a hurry despite some persistent links. I don't think we're getting Dybala.
Okay, well, I can see a scenario where, you know, Allegri leaves, new man comes in, he wants to buy his own shiny new toy, he's looking for a piece to sell to be able to get that in, he sees our interest, and it happens. Look, maybe I'm being optimistic, but I'm not giving up on that guy just yet. Now, there's a lot of action going on around here. We are outside. It's quite of a nice day, so sometimes you're going to get a little bit of action interrupting what we do. So it's probably a good time for us to take a pause and have a little look at something else that we do.
Tokyo Time are partnering us throughout this season, sponsoring Talking Reds, and we're delighted they are doing so. They are a premium headwear company based here in Liverpool, but represented throughout the world. Here's a really cool video that made the shows a little bit more about what they're about. They're supporting us this season, so make sure you support them.
Perfect. Thanks as ever to Tokyo Time there. So it's about time we talk about some of the things that we're putting out in the Anfield Wrap over the course of the next 24 hours. Now, I believe the greatest show has already been released, but once again, this is one of your projects. So
the greatest show.
Yes.
Yes. The show where we talk about the greatest something or other in Liverpool history, the greatest Liverpool striker, greatest Liverpool manager, best season, things like that. And well, the recent one we recorded was I hosted the show. I gave all the panelists a chance to pick their best Liverpool 11 of this century.
Wow.
It was quite a tough one. People had to pick a formation, they had to build their case. It was it's a really good show. So
wow.
Subscribe to Tour Player. For the moment, still only £5 a month, 17p a show.
Get it while you can.
Well worth it.
We've also got the Lower League show, which is coming out later today. And there's also something else.
I've done another one.
You've done another one?
Yesterday I recorded a transfer show, just before the Dybala story broke, actually. So we discussed everything but Dybala. It's called the Gutter Show, the Transfer Gutter Show. We look at all the worst and best rumours, and that was really good. We talked about some of the links with Sadio, spurious and otherwise, and it was a good show.
Yeah, there's a reason we didn't go into that today, because we don't really want to give it any more oxygen.
No, not really.
But yeah, if you are interested in those links, then yeah, you can listen to that transfer show. We've got the Lower League show, which I mentioned is coming out. Something else which I've been working on is a little project on an Italian football club that you may have heard of called Parma, and their dramatic rise back into the big time. So that's going to be coming out over the next couple of days. I'm particularly proud of that. It's something that I've been working very hard on, so listen out for that. But as you know, we're here at the Anfield Wrap. We like to give you lots of good stuff. So anything that you may have missed over the last few days, just go and check out our subscription page. Subscribe if you haven't already. There's plenty of good stuff in there. So yeah, it's been another fantastic Wednesday show. I'm off to get an ice cream because it's really hot, and we'll see you next week. Up the Reds.